This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, welcome everyone. Good evening. Shalom Aleichem, Bruchim Haba, and welcome everyone. So, good news, Baruch Hashem. The Sefer on Chanukah was just published this afternoon. It is now available from ArtScroll. You could go to the ArtScroll website, or you could go to TorahAnytime.com, go to Speakers, Glatstein, and there's a link to order the Sefer to have it delivered. This evening at 7:45, there is a special shiur streaming live on TorahAnytime.com about the release of the Sefer. 8:30 is the regular Parsha shiur. Okay, I want to remind everyone you could catch the shiur on Torah Anytime and also on podcast. And Baruch Hashem, we have my good friends from England, even though it's late at night, but I don't know. They don't sleep over there. They're very big tzaddikim. Okay, so the Gra says in the next paragraph, and he introduces his paragraph with an interesting word. He says, V'yadua. He says, and it is known. Ki kol ha'olam hazeh kol hevel. This whole world, it's all empty. So it's interesting. He doesn't just say kol ha'olam hazeh kol hevel. This whole world is empty. But he says, it's known this whole world is empty. So Rav Michal Yehuda Lefkowitz points out that even though we all agree that we all know that it's empty, nevertheless, it's still an avodah for a person to integrate this into your mind. So, despite the fact that we know that it's empty, nevertheless, we don't always accord ourselves with that knowledge. So, that's an interesting point. Hakol hevel, it's all empty. V'chol hashashuim, all the delights, hakol koloi hayu, they're all as if they never were. In other words, you have a good piece of steak, okay? You ate a bite. Now what happened to that bite? It's gone forever. None of that pleasure does you any good forever and ever. In other words, it's gone. It will not benefit you in any way ever again. It's lost forever. It's fleeting. Any pleasure in this world, the moment it's over, it does not stay with you. There's nothing about it that remains with you. It's as if it never happened. It did so little for you that the moment it's over, it's as if it never happened. Woe to those who run after food, pleasure, and all the other good times, because the moment it's done. It doesn't do anything for you. And this week we said yesterday about Al-Tekani Ba'oishar, do not be jealous about someone else's wealth. There is wealth which is guarded for its owner, for his evil. You think you're jealous about somebody else's possessions. The Rebbe Shem did not necessarily give it to the person as a chesed. It could have been for his ra. And then the Gra goes on to quote a number of psukim, which, so to speak, are mahavil, trivialize, and undermine the value that many people place on physical belongings and physical pleasure. And these psukim from Shlomo HaMelech and Koheles and elsewhere trivialize these experiences. Firstly, kasher yatsa mi beten imay araim yashav. The same way you came into this world with nothing, no money, right? Most people on this Zoom share were not born holding an American Express card. It's a chiddush, no? Did you know that? That most people were not born holding a credit card. Most people, when they were born, did not have any money. And that is the way you leave this world. You come into the world empty, and you leave empty. Kol uma shaba ken yelech. The way you came, that's where you leave. Why toil for nothing? In other words, why toil for anything you can't take with you? Now, this is not a chiddush. We all know that. We all know we can't take money with us, or we can't take pleasure with us. The only currency that is effective in the next world is Torah and mitzvahs. And we sort of know intellectually, so if that's the case, if we're here for a short amount of time, and eternity is a very long amount of time, why be toireach for something we can't take with us? We all know that, but do we live that way? Ve'ilu chaya elav shanim pa'amayim. It's another pasuk in Koheles. If you were to live 2,000 years, When the 2,000 years would be over, you'd say, whoa, boy, did the time fly by. What happened to it? Ki im shanim harbe yichya adam. Even if a person lived for many years, bekulam yismach, you should rejoice in all of them. V'yizkar es yimei achoshech. Remember the days of darkness. Ki harbe yiyah. There will be many. Kol shaba havel. Whatever comes is empty. So this refers to... this is reminiscent of a teaching of Rabbeinu Yoina that in a person, so to speak, later years, they should still take advantage of it and try to maximize it and rejoice in it. So because if a person is not happy, they can't really take advantage of the time, but recognize that you should try to maximize the time because the amount of time that we won't be able to accomplish is very great. Ulesimcha ma zaya isa. What good is fun times? What's that going to do for us for eternity? Ki machar tivke me'esher hayom tischak. Although today you may be smiling during the good times, the day will come that you will be crying. In other words, all the good times are of no benefit to one's eternal existence. The al tekane b'kavod hameduma hahevel. Do not be jealous of empty fantasy honor. Now, this is an interesting expression. Don't be jealous of illusory, imaginary honor. However, there is real honor, and that type of honor one should desire. What is real honor? Real honor is knowing the Torah. The Mesilas Yesharim writes in Parak Yud Aleph, Kavod ha'amiti, true honor, Einoi ela yedias haTorah be'emes, is knowing the Torah in truth. Like it says in Perkei Avos, Ein kavod ela Torah. Like it says, Kavod chachamim yinchalu. So knowledge, right, like the pasuk says, Al yishalel asher ba'ashroi gibar b'gvurasai al zois ela bezois yishalel hamishalel haskel v'yadoya oisi. Only with this should somebody glorify. That is knowing Hashem. The only true kavod is the knowledge of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and true kavod one should pursue, one should desire, one should want true kavod. So illusory kavod, empty kavod, imaginary kavod, the fact that some guy gets a chashav aliyah because he has a lot of money, what is that? That's not valuable, that's not worth anything. It doesn't do anything for him. He's not going to live longer, he's not going to be healthier. So what do you need it for? It doesn't do anything for him and it won't do anything for you. But true honor, meaning genuine knowledge of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which includes knowing halacha, knowing Gemara, knowing Musar, knowing Chachmas HaTorah, that is true honor, that is something we should desire. Kinas soifrim tarbe chachma. V'ha'olam doime l'shoyse mayim meluchim. Oh, 1 second. V'hazman boiged. Time is a traitor. Time is a traitor, which means you think things are going well, you think things are working out for you. Time has a way of being traitorous. In other words, a person can easily, quickly, swiftly be taken out of a good situation and be in a difficult matzav, whether financially, whether career-wise, whether family-wise. So time could be traitorous to a person. You think time is loyal to you? No, a person has to look at things as if they're sort of riding a wave. Things are going well. You always have to be wary that it may not stay that way. V'hu k'moiznayim. Life is like scales. Yagbia hakal. It lifts up the light. V'yashbel hakavod. It brings down the heavy. I assume part of this means that the more one inflates themselves, life has a way of bringing them down, and vice versa. When somebody feels lowly and beshiflus, life has a way, or the Rebbeinu Shalom has a way of raising them up. Now, the next statement is worthy of independent analysis, which we'll try to offer tomorrow. This world is like drinking salt water. In other words, there are things in this world we think we want. We need more money, we need a nicer car, we need a nicer house, we need more kavod. And the Gra is saying this world is like salt water. We think we need it, but when we experience it, it only makes us want more. In other words, it doesn't give us any satiety, it only makes us want more. But Be'ezus Hashem, tomorrow, we're going to learn the amazing words of the Ramban at the end of Devarim, where the Ramban discusses a really very current and contemporary and unfortunate phenomenon, where you have desires that people have in our times that in past decades people were embarrassed to come out with, or in past decades or centuries it was much more of a rarity. And why is it so much more common today to have sort of deviant desires? And the Ramban uses this idea that this world is like salt water. In other words, when a person indulges in desire, it creates a desire for more, to the extent where it creates an illusion that you need something that has not been experienced before. And which is somewhat of a psychological analysis of human taiva, which is certainly not accepted by psychologists today, but this is the reality that the Ramban tells us, that desire is in most ways a figment of one's own creation and their imagination. Okay, Rabbi, I thank you for joining. 7:45, there is a share about the new Sefer on Chanukah, 8:30 on the Parsha. Tomorrow afternoon, 2:30, the new Shimru program of Hilchos Shabbos. We're going to start B'siyat Dishmaya with Meleches Bishul. Thank you everyone for joining. Have a great day. Bracha v'atzlacha.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.